Well, they're going to do a quick revisit to my most popular video ever, which is the Minuteman Bag Loadout. This video probably won't get as many views as that one because like demonetization and all that stupid big tech bullshit. But there's a lot of things in that old video that are way out of date. Like there's a lot of gear in there that I don't use anymore, and different ideas about what should be in the bag. So I thought, okay, let's just do another one. So let's get into that right now. All right, so let's dig into the meat of this. So the idea behind the Minuteman Bag Loadout is not, hey, I need to grab my bag and start shooting. Like, you know, the gear to get into a fight. That's a whole different thing. That's probably gonna be your boxers and the rifle beside your bed. Let's face it, that's gonna be the way if we're talking that level of urgency. The idea of the Minuteman Loadout Bag is if the call went out that your people needed help, if your community needed defended, it would have gear that you would, you know, put your hero suit on, and have some sustainment gear in it as well. So, like, you know, in the original Minuteman deal, you know, 1700s, you'd grab your bedroll, whatever, and you'd get on a horse and you'd ride to meet your people to fight. To go with them to get in the fight, or you would walk. So everything was what you would carry either on you or on your horse, you know, if you had a horse. Nowadays people have vehicles, so if that call went out, you would drive to meet your people. If you were going to spend some time doing your turn on the roof of a Korean business, aka the rooftop Koreans, shout out to those fellas, you would probably live at that business for some amount of time while the community danger went on around you. You would do your part however needed be, but you would be living out of the things you brought with you. So you may, you know, drop off your shit like out of your truck. I got some bags of gear and stuff like that, and then leave the truck there, drive the truck away. You know, like a bunch of people drive out and get in one vehicle to come back, so as to not needlessly throw your vehicles away in societal collapse. You know, move that out of the danger area. So you might work right out of your vehicle, or you may just need to unload your vehicle. So the idea is that in a few moments, not an actual 60 seconds, you would be able to take your gear to your chosen method of transportation and travel to the fight, and then live out of the things that you brought. And so that's the idea behind the Minuteman Loadout Bag. So if you ride a subway every day, it's probably going to be like your fucking bug out bag is everything, because, you know, like your method of transportation is what you can carry on foot. However, I own a truck, so it's the things I would go put in my truck. Once I get to whatever location it could be, if I put on a chest rig, body armor, whatever, and grab a rifle, and that's it, the rest of the stuff just stays in the truck, and that's it. But if I'm going to be at the, you know, some place for some time, I have packed things to keep me going for a couple of days. So, you know, if I'm soaking wet, covered in mud, I don't have to live and get hypothermia in that stuff. Like, I have clothes to change out of and that kind of thing. So that's the idea behind it. So we'll dig into what those things are. There's actually more than one bag. That's going to be a shocker, because I tried to be organized. I know my wife's like, he's not organized, but I tried. So let's see what we got. First things first, we'll get to the big gear bag, but I am going to grab my bug out bag and I'm going to bring it with me, because in this whole potential predicament that I'm preparing for, it might end in a bug out to a better location. So I have a bug out bag. There's a whole series of videos on that. Actually, my second most popular video is my bug out bag, and that's also out of date. Currently, it's this Kelty Red Wing something or other, I think. Red Wing 3100. It is my bug out bag. It will get its own video, just not at this moment. So that bag's going in my truck too, in case I end up bugging out out of wherever this place is, I've got bug out shit prepared. The gear bag itself, on top of it, it has compression straps. There's a video review of the gear bag. With those compression straps, I have other bags strapped to it. That would include this bag. This is a duffel bag full of cold weather gear. There is a video on the cold weather gear I keep in this bag. From that video to today, I may have changed some brands of things out, but the principle of having a bag of cold weather gear is the same. It also includes this bag of snow gear. So it is, some of it's warm, but it's not as warm as the cold weather gear, but it has a lot of things to put over the cold weather gear when it's white outside. So there's some waterproof things and some snow colored things that are meant for snow. Now, as of this video, October 1, there's no snow. So this bag just sits over in the corner along with the cold weather gear. But as it gets colder, those will get strapped fast to the lid of my gear bag. So I'm grabbing the bug out bag, taking it to the truck. It's actually going to go in last on top of everything, so in case I have to bug out of the truck. I'm going to take the gear bag with maybe the cold weather, maybe the snow gear on it. And something else I'm going to grab is my Deadpool inspired mag bag. So it is a big ass SOE duffel bag full of rifle magazines. I think there's about 30 of them in there loaded. It has a pistol sleeve full of M&P magazines, and it's got 2 full MREs in it, just to fill up the rest of the space, and some extra food doesn't hurt. So I got a bag full of extra magazines, some extra food. I call it my fuel bag, and I threw some Hello Kitty patches on the outside of it because it was inspired by the ammunition bag in Deadpool.
Where's your duffel bag?
So in their gear bag itself, I got a bag with rain gear. There's some civilian style rain pants and a military Gore-Tex rain jacket in this bag. That's in its own separate bag, so that's easy for me to locate it and not have to dig through a bunch of other gear to find the shit for wet. And it usually stays near the top or somewhere where I can grab it out. So if rain is going to be happening, I don't have to, it's not buried. So there's a fully loaded chest rig in here, 5 magazines on my fighting rig. This will probably get its own video, but it's got all the admin stuff, tools, med gear, radio, knife, GPS, nav stuff. It's all set up in this UW Gear chest rig. I think I did a video on it before, but I've changed things on it, added things to it, so it'll probably get its own video as well. But the chest rig is there. That is my primary fighting rig. It does not include body armor because that's not in my primary fighting rig. I have body armor in here, but that's for a as needed basis. It's not a go-to. I have an assault pack. It's Eagle assault pack, and it is set up with things in it that I want. I actually added this mesh pad to the back because it makes carrying it better, but it has some pockets on the side with extra mags in it so that I can restock the chest rig from. They wouldn't be like ones that I go right to, so there's 4 extra mags on the side of that to restock my chest rig. They're on the back pouch, the admin style I believe it is. I've got a Vortex monocular for looking at things, because sometimes you want to look at things without pointing a rifle at it. So I keep that in there. Some of the small pockets have there's a compressed roll of toilet paper, there's Camelback in there, there's a fire starter in there, there's an MRE main course in there, but in the beaver tail is the cool guy stuff. So open the beaver tail up, it's got a Cry nightcap with all the Wilcox shit on the front, a bunch of batteries, AA and 123s in the back, and a IR strobe, So that hat is in there. I call it my $900 hat. I have a padded pouch with a PVS 14 in it. So those two go together, and I would keep them in the assault pack because if it's not dark, I'm not wearing them. So those two things stay in the assault pack. There's a pair of clear Oakleys in the assault pack as well, because I almost always have sunglasses on in the daylight, so that's not a problem bringing those with me. However, when it gets dark and I want to put those PVS 14s on, it's either no eye pro or bring a set of clears. So I keep those all together so I can put the clears on, put it all together. Now I've got night vision as part of my cool guy kit. There is a gun belt, and it is a pretty minimalist gun belt. That's gonna shock you. There's a video on the belt itself. Holster with a fixed blade, double mag pouch, and that's it. It's a SOE Riggers belt with a high-speed gear belt pad on the inside of it. I don't always go for this. If I got a rifle, I don't necessarily need to put on a gun belt. I might just have my EDC gear on because like that's every day. But this is set up to throw on as a pistol belt. The only thing on it's pistol stuff. The rifle stuff's on my chest, the pistol stuff's on my waist. And when you're short like me, you can only have so much of that because they overlap each other. So like if I'm wearing magazines on my chest and I've got magazines on my waist, they are close enough that if I bend and turn, they are hitting each other and preventing me from having being very mobile or flexible. But pistol belt is in there. I leave the radio on the top with the blade antenna on it. I wouldn't really use it in my gear with this antenna on. I will use the Disco 32 antenna from the video, but you gotta have all your shit on in order to do that. So I leave this on it so I can use it whenever I want. I can ham nerd out if I like. But once I put my gear on, I can quick disconnect this antenna, put it in the pouch, connect the other antenna up, push to talk, all that stuff. So having the BNC connector makes it so that I can use the radio without being all kitted up. All right, so if I wanted to wear armor, I do have this set up right here. It is Bulletproof Me's polyethylene plates. Are like level 3, and they weigh nothing. Prior to setting the carrier up this way, when it was just slick, it was 6 pounds for 2 plates and the carrier. Now what I did is I took a Blackhawk assault pack. It's set up just like the Eagle one. There's very minor differences to it. Like I put some pouches on it to mimic the pouches that came sewed onto the Eagle, and it currently rides empty, other than the empty bladder that's in it. But if I wanted to wear armor, I don't necessarily want to do the armor, the chest rig, and the backpack straps. Like we're getting a bunch of shit at the shoulder levels. So I wouldn't carry my Eagle assault pack. I would just take the things out of it and put in the assault pack that's weaved to the back plate, so they are connected to each other, and that cuts down one set of straps. The carrier is set up with the Mayflower system that I can plug right into it, but I'm just going to throw my UW rig right over top of it and not take off the H harness and all that, because that's where I got the antenna running. So I'd rather keep that all together. But the UW shoulder pads aren't padded or anything, so they're pretty low profile to go right over top of the armor carrier if I wanted to run a heavier rig. If I was fighting from with the roof Koreans on top of the roof of the Korean restaurant, I'd probably throw armor on, because mobility wouldn't be as important to me when I have a stationary location. If I had to hump up the mountain that's behind the camera, I would not want that. Even at 6 pounds, I would be trying to cut down the weight as much as possible. So that's why I'll bring 2 systems, but the chest rig is primary, the armor is a particular choice. The bag itself, you've seen the video. If not, there's a link, maybe. Depends how technical savvy I am to put that in there. What's currently in that? Well, let's take a look. I got 2 pair of you know, action pants. They're multicam and coyote, I guess. They are true spec 24/7 expedition pants. True spec's got a reputation of but they're pretty affordable, and they got all the stretchy parts like the expensive Cry pants do. But I can buy like 5 pair of these for the price of 1 Cry. And while the Cry are probably considerably higher quality, having backups to backups to backups is more important than having 1 pair that when they're wet you don't have pants. So bunch of those. On the top end, torso area, I got a bunch of these 511 wicking shirts. They're old. They're in the original video. I don't wear them a ton. They're not my everyday shirts. But I have 4 or 5 of those in there. They will start to smell bad after 4 or 5 days of sweating. So hygiene says I should swap those out if I have the opportunity. They're OD or whatever fucking color green that 511 has. I have 2 Cry combat shirts. This is a dry fire, and this is the all weather. I don't even have a regular one, but I've got 2 combat shirts that are long sleeve, camouflage, that kind of thing. The idea behind it is if one's wet, I can swap out the other while it dries. So having, you know, again, I want to be dry, warm. If I can't be warm, I have to be dry. And hygiene says change things out. In case it's chilly, I have a camouflaged hoodie in there. I'm a big fan of hoodies. Over in the side pocket, a couple different layers of clothing. I have a 0241 tactical smock. There's a video on that. And a multicam soft shell that's like semi-insulated kinda. It's a Condor. There's an old video on those too. I barely wear it, so it's still in great shape. I think the video I had a couple different colors of those, and I've broken zippers and ripped holes in them, and like I'm completely out of all the Condor soft shells except this one. Now, if it's chilly out, there's a chance that I might be wearing some extra thermal layers already. Like I have a couple Cry soft shells and random hoodies. I love hoodies, so I might start out with some extra layers already on me, because you're going to bring what you got in addition to grabbing all the stuff, along with the more not cool guy stuff. With all those wicking t-shirts are also a pile of wicking underwear. Clean underwear, that's healthy, and wicking means that you won't chafe the fuck out of the boys. I got a pair of Merrells. I'm like the Imelda Marcos of Merrells. I own a lot of them. Wearing a pair right now. But just in case the one day that I'm wearing sneakers, like running shoes, I want to grab all this shit and go, I've got a pair of waterproof hikers in here. There are 4 pair of socks in it. Again, back to hygiene. I have 2 pair of these Cool Max socks, and the other hiker has 2 pair of wool socks. So one of those gonna work. All right, one of the pockets I have some hats. Most likely I'll be wearing a hat, and most of the hats I own aren't like bright yellow, so it'll probably be an okay hat. However, there is a multicam baseball cap, a multicam boonie hat, and a AOR fleece beanie. So that kind of covers whatever I might want to put on top of my head if it isn't the Cry cap with the night vision. Also tucked in there is a real super low profile belt. If I'm wearing like the gun belt, I don't need a Cobra buckle fucking riggers belt holding my pants up. I just need something to hold my pants up. That fucking Blue Force gear belt, top notch for that. Some gloves. These are some old Southwest Motorsports. I also run some Oakley gloves. Like there's a pair hanging on my chest rig. So extra gloves always good. Plus if I brought my truck, the truck has a couple pair of gloves just thrown in it as well. The cold weather gear bag has some glove liners and some heavier gloves. There's some multicam Alpine mechanics gloves in the snow bag. So plenty of hand protection as well. I guess really the only thing that leaves is I'm obviously bringing a rifle. This is my #1 rifle, my go-to rifle. I am now running a low power variable on it all the time. It's got an IR laser, flashlight that runs either IR illuminator or white light. Sling is in the taped position because it rides in the truck with me most of the time. If I pick it up, I can use it the way that it is. All the controls work. If I want to holster my rifle, I'll break the tape, hang the rifle on me. In the truck, there's a couple rolls of black tape so that I can put it back if I want to. Now, in addition to all that, my truck has shit in it. So like those things would come as well. There's like 4 30 cal ammo cans full of 9mm and 5.56 in there. I use those all the time. They're not meant for go time. It's range ammo, you know, not steel case bullshit, but it's, you know, like Fiocchi 223A or what is it, 9, whatever the fuck their 9 is, or Federal or whatever. It's not Uncle Cletus's hand loads, and it's not remanufactured ammo, but they're in there because I use them at study groups. I use them when I go to the range and practice. I use them at class. So I've got a bunch of extra ammo in the truck all the time that I'm also bringing with me. In addition to that, there's a stock med bag that's in there all the time. My bailout bag is in the front seat. So, and that's there all the time. Even when, you know, it would serve, the bug out bag would serve me better than the bailout bag would. The bug out bag doesn't live in my truck, the bailout bag does. Plus, there's all the things you normally keep in your truck. So there's extra road flares than just the ones on my kit. There's extra smoke grenades than just the ones on my kit. Or the 2 extras that are in the mag bag. The Deadpool bag, as I'm going to start calling it. So my truck, which is kind of right off camera here, it has a bunch of extra shit in it too that I could load out if need be, you know, out of the truck into, we're just going to keep going with the Korean restaurant, the Korean barbecue, because man, I do like some Korean barbecue. So if we're going to be roof Koreans, I want to do it on the Korean barbecue. All these things would go in the truck in addition to the stuff that's in the truck already. Once I put on the hero suit and that accompanying gear, if that's all if I have to leave it all, well, so be it. But if I get to come back to it, I want to have a bag with more things in it. So my Minuteman Loadout Bag isn't just shit that I'm going to wear to fight. It's the shit I might change into after the fight in case there's another fight tomorrow. Does that make sense to you guys? Obviously, I can't hear your answer. Just nod your head right there in front of your phone. So the way I store my bag is in my home office. Upstairs, there's a couch there where all my friends stay when they come over. But laying on the floor is this loadout bag, open. So when I want to go to the range and I want to grab my chest rig because I want to wear my gear at, you know, when I'm out practicing, I can take it with me. When I come home, I put full magazines back in it, take radios out and charge them, whatever I'm going to do, and I put it back in the go bag. So the only thing I need to do later is zip it up and leave. Grab, you know, whatever bags need to accompany that, the bug out bag, the mag bag. If it's cold out, the cold weather bags will already be lashed to it. So those things are kind of ready to go. I don't really have a time limit. It's sure as fuck not 60 seconds, like 1 minute to be ready to go. It is, the call comes in, you know, the rioting is happening here. Will you come help me? All right, I got, you know, a few minutes to take things to the car and then I'm going. So that's the whole deal behind the Minuteman Loadout Bag, you know, the plan. So that's what I got for it. That's the update compared to the old one. Hopefully this video isn't 17,000 minutes long. I'll try to edit it the best I can. It might even be 2 parts. If it is, thanks for watching both of them. If I squeezed it all into one, thanks for staying throughout the whole thing. You all take it easy, and I'll catch you next time. I should point out, the rifle magazines are all loaded with Defiant 55 grain DDM, which is their polymer tipped bullet. When Pete comes out with 55 grain TCX, I'll run that. Pistols, all 115 grain, all magazines 115 grain Defiant TCX in those.